Good evening. This is Sri Primo with a final preview for the AFC West team, which is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are the gold standard of the NFL, and they were in the Super Bowl, but had a very disappointing end to the season after being demolished by the Philadelphia Eagles that ultimately won the Super Bowl. And we'll cover the NFC East teams with the NFC East boys. But staying on Kansas City, they enter the 2025 season like what the Patriots used to do every year when the Tom Brady era, which was the perennial contenders. As I mentioned, they were in the Super Bowl. They were aiming for their third title in 4 years under Andy Reid and quarterback Patrick Mahomes. They've We'll get to what they did in the offseason, but let's quickly get down to the 2024 season. As everyone knows, the Kansas City Chiefs dominated the regular season with a great record of 15-2. They got their number one seed in the AFC at the first place in the AFC West. Offensively, they were not as good as some of the teams that you normally, like the Baltimore Ravens or Buffalo Bills, but they averaged only 22 points a game, but they were 15th in the NFL, believe it or not. In the high-powered offense from Patrick Mahomes that we're used to seeing, they were in the middle of the pack. Defensively, they were actually solid. I mean, they only allowed 19 points a game, which was good enough to win most games, and they were a little luckier with some of the teams, but they posted a league best 7-2 record against some of the playoff teams. The one other thing is that in the playoffs, what do? They advance with a very, I would say, mediocre win against the Texans. And then they won 32-29 AFC Championship, as everyone know what happened. It was a missed field goal. But then in the Super Bowl, they fell to the Philadelphia Eagles with a 40-22 thumping, which was actually a rematch of the Super Bowl. I believe it was like 58, 57. That was the one where the Eagles were actually up at the half by 10, and then Mahomes brought them back, as he always does. So, what do they do in the offseason? They did focus on retaining some of the core talent. Obviously, they did re-sign Nick Bolton. They did sign Kareem Hunt. They also got the wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster to maintain some of the continuity. They bolstered some of the defense with some of the defensive tackles and cornerbacks. They did add Gardner Minshew from a backup. And they also had, I think they did let go some of the team's key departures. Had Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And I do believe that Joe Tooney also left. So, but I need to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure about that. On the draft, as you know, that with going to the Super Bowl means that you're picking pretty much dead last or the one before that. So they did pick 32. They did a trade with the Super Bowl rival, actually, the Eagles, and they selected Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons. Should be for bolstering that offensive scheme there. And they did add some of the interior line, and they add some third-round edge rushers. But one thing that we always know about Kansas City is that they pick wide receivers and running backs late. Like they picked like Jalen Royals from a fourth-round wide receiver. But one thing that Andy Reid does so well is to get both especially get some skill position players in the later rounds. So that's what they always do. So let's see about what the 2025-2026 season is going to look like. Well, they are favored to contend again, as I mentioned, perennial contender. I don't think they will win 15 games, but that doesn't matter because they do have Mahomes and Andy Reid. They would probably finish with like a 13-4 or even like a 12-5, but that's okay. I mean, they will be in the playoffs as always is. And then they use the experience that they have gotten over the past few years to make another big push to the AFC Championship and beyond. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if the Kansas City Chiefs don't make they will be in the Super Bowl. I think I'm predicting it. I mean, I'm not doing it right now, but when I do my predictions, I am going to pick them as an AFC Championship, either them, Buffalo, or Ravens to go to the Super Bowl. But I think between the three teams, if you ask me, it doesn't matter. I mean, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have shown that they can go on the road and win it, like they won it the 2 years before that, where they went to Baltimore and the Bills, won those games, and went to the Super Bowl and won that as well. So I wouldn't be shocked if they can go on the road and win. They could easily be at home. If they're playing at home, I don't think any team is coming into Arrowhead and beating them, especially with Mahomes and Andy Reid. So that's where we are with the Chiefs. So I think I'm mm, calling them a strong contender for the Super Bowl. So with that, we wrap up Kansas City. Thanks again for listening.